Hi, my name is Jessica and I have no idea what I'm doing. Today I'm going to be testing out the Profusion Cosmetics Bare Eyes Eyeshadow Makeup Case. If you saw the Boxes of Shame video, this is a palette, that I've had since Christmas or January or whatever, that a friend gave to me and then I never used. Terrible. So, I don't think they even make this palette anymore. But I decided to do a video with it anyway because, you know, sometimes people see a palette that's discontinued and they get inspired by the color story or looks and stuff. Or if they see a video with one palette from a brand, it makes them want to try or not try a different palette from the brand. So I think it still has a purpose, you know. It does come with a double-ended brush that looks like it's of decent quality. So I'm going to use it at least for starters. I'm going to use this more flattened, not flat, but more so than this one. This was like a round fluffy brush type of brush. This one's flatter. I'm going to start with Sugar, and I'm going to set my eyeshadow primer from Creased Brow Bone. That's very pigmented. Okay. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's a light shade though, and it's close to my skin tone. So this eye I have primed, the other eye I do not, as I usually do for eyeshadow testing videos. I used to have a Profusion palette, God, it's a while back, years, and you've probably had it too, maybe. There were like 4 trios, like 4 circles, and there were 3 shades each. They were all shimmers, and like one of them was a neutral trio, one had like some pink in it, one had blues, and one had greens, and I really enjoyed that. Okay, then I'm gonna take Gallant with the fluffy brush, this like beige taupey color, and I'm gonna use that as my transition. Ooh. I mean, obviously these are not my kinds of shades. I'm not a neutral person, but it seems to be good quality. I'm going to go to my IBY crease brush now and go into Clever, which is that shade but deeper. It's like a teetering on a coffee brown, but like a more taupey. I'm going to put that in my crease. These are performing really well. Profusion isn't expensive either, so if you like what you see, and if these hold up well, which I think they will, you should look into getting yourself some Profusion eyeshadow. I do see like some difference between the primed and non-primed eye, but not a lot, honestly. I'm also going to take that same shade, ooh, it's so soft, and I'm gonna put that, I'm gonna put that on the outer third of my eye. I'm gonna go into Beam next, which is again like a taupey color. That's pretty, like a taupey champagne maybe. And I'm gonna put that on the inner 2/3. I mean, it's not as pigmented as I expected based on how pigmented the mattes were, or rather the taupey ones. I'm going to blend that into the taupe. That's pretty. Did you ever think you would see me in taupey neutrals? I feel like this shade is definitely doing a little bit better on the primed eye. Then I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, go back into Clever, and put that on the outer third of my lower lash line. Well, maybe outer half, because I can't control my brush. Hi, my name is Jessica and I have no idea what I'm doing. And then I'm going to put it into that Beam shade. I don't think I'm going to get much out of it. I'll try. I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3. Not really. So I'm going to take my fingertip instead. I feel like it wants to hard pan and I'm not happy about that. You could say like, oh, it's a year old, but let's be realistic. Eyeshadow palettes last a lot longer than we think they do. Alright, so that's the look for today. I'm going to do a couple more. I think that looks really good, you know, for a neutral look. Yeah, and I think it performed pretty well. The taupe mattes performed very well. The setting shade, and the shimmer, I mean, it's there. I just want more. You know me. I want more. But you're also getting like a good deal on this, so. Alright, so yesterday's eye look, it did crease somewhat on this side. Not badly though. However, the look kind of faded, or at least the like darker taupey shade. It still looked good at the end of the day though. You know what I mean? Like, you know when your eyeshadow like does move or it does crease or whatever, but somehow it still looks good at the end of the day? That's what it looked like. And also that that shiny shade Beam, like I guess the oils in my eyes, despite the primer being there, like it, I don't know, I guess they helped it like even out a little more. It looked good. So I don't know how to feel about that, because obviously I want it to be as dark as when I put it on, but it still looked good. And I got compliments, and I really did like the tones of it, even though that's not my normal thing. So I'm going to continue with the testing. Today I'm going to set my eyeshadow primer with Silky. Or you know what? No. Maybe I'll use that as a transition shade. See how dark it really is? This one here. It's like a cream. I'm going to use that. Ooh, that's a lot. I'm going to use the rounded side, the fluffy side. And I have both eyes primed today. And it just makes me think, like, you know, I used to go primerless for most of my life. You know, I only started using eyeshadow primer maybe in like 2017. And even then I didn't use it like consistently. And it just makes me wonder, like, did my eyes change? Or like, did my taste change? Like, was I really walking around with eyeshadow that creased or moved or whatever? Or was eyeshadow just created better back then? Like, I don't know. Do you wonder these things? Personally, I think they could have done without one of these two and put in like a shimmery brow bone highlight. But you know, that's just me. Then I'm going to take my Ivory white crease brush and I'm going to go into Doll, which is a very light beige. And I'm going to put that in the crease. I mean, on me, you know, you see it's giving depth. But it's more like maybe a setting shade, transition shade, or just a matte light, you know, lid shade for anyone darker than me. Just taking a clean brush, just blending this out a little more. So keep in mind, I didn't set the primer today, but maybe that'll help this stick a little more. I don't know. I'm going to use that same shade and put it on the outer third of my lid. On my lid, it's appearing lighter and like closer to my skin tone. This is so neutral and natural. Not what I'm used to at all. Then I'm going to take Celestial, which is like a beige. Ooh. I mean, it's shiny, it's, you know, it's pretty. And I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3 of my lid. See, not as shiny when I put it on though. This is probably the shade that most people are using for like a brow bone highlight or something. Most people could use it. For me, it's a little dark, but you know what? I think I'll do it anyway, just for the sake of trying it out. Even if it's neutrals. God, I love testing out eyeshadow. I love using new eyeshadow. I love eyeshadow. Gotta do what makes you happy, you know? Then I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, going into Doll again, I'm just putting that on the outer third of my lower lash line. It's coming out a little bit darker down there, just like in my crease. And then I'm going to take my smaller version of that brush. It's from Wish, and I'm going to see if I could take Celestial on this and put it on my inner 2/3. Oh yeah, that comes out pretty well. And you know what, I think I'm going to try to use this brush. Let's see if it works. I'm going to pick up Celestial on it. Oh, it does pick up. And I'm going to use that as my brow bone highlight. Oh yeah, that works. Cool. And I guess I'll put a little bit in the inner corner as well. Because why not? I have never looked so natural and neutral. Ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but wow. Who am I? Not used to this. Do you know what I just remembered? I'm really sitting here like, oh, it's subtle. Oh, it's neutral. It's so natural. Like, it's a neutral palette. No, not only is it a neutral palette, it's literally called Bare Eyes. Of course it's gonna look like this. Well, it's doing a great job of doing that. Alright, so today I'll be doing the final look with this palette and the swatches. Yesterday's look, I mean, again, it kind of faded somewhat, and because the colors were so light and natural to begin with, it didn't look like I had much on. Maybe that's the point, but I just wish that it looked exactly like, I mean, isn't that the wish with all eyeshadow? It looks exactly as, you know, you put it on. Not as thrilled with that one. I am fairly happy with the first look though. Today I'm going to use the leftover shades, which are like the pinky ones. So we got like some rosy browns and a pale pink over there. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm going to use my dollar store brush and go into Sugar, this guy here. And I'm going to set my eyeshadow primer with it from crease to brow bone. Then I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it and going into Heavenly, which is the lighter of the like rosy browns. And that's going to be my transition. It's a nice color. You know, if you like rosy browns. It's pretty pink leaning, I would say. Like a dusty pink, perhaps. Just trying to blend that out a little more. Then I'm going to take my IBY crease brush and go into Zing, which is the deeper rosy brown, and that's going in my crease. And I'll change it up a little bit today. I'm going to put that same shade on my inner and outer thirds. And I'll do a halo eye today. Oops. Made a little bit of a mess. I have some new products on my face that I don't know if that video's up yet or whatever, but it's sticking to that, so it's not the eyeshadow. Again, this is a nice color if you like these kinds of shades. This is almost like a gingerbready kind of color. Then I'm going to take Glitter Rock, which looks really pretty. Let's see. Take it on my finger. Okay. I'm going to put that in the middle. I would say so far with the end of the palette, but yeah, this one has a little bit of a different formula than the other shimmers, and it applies a little better. Like it's shinier, it's more metallic, it's coming off my finger a little easier. So, you know, I like that better. And then of course, I'm just blending it into the matte brown on both sides. I feel like the more I try to put on though, like my first swipe is what's best. Like I feel like I'm knocking it off when I like try to keep going. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna take my little brush from Wish, go back into Zing, put that on the inner and outer thirds of my lower lash line. I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, go back into Heavenly, and go over that to like soften the look, I guess. And then going back into Glitter Rock, look at that. I'm gonna put that in the middle. I do think that looks nice. Again, if you like these kinds of shades. Alright, so going to give you the swatches now. And my thoughts are, while you can't get this one anymore, I'm pretty sure, maybe you could get it through a third-party seller. There was nothing on that first finger. Wow, okay. If you like these kinds of shades, but Profusion as a brand is still around, and they are affordable. I think it performed well enough. Again, these are cheap. So I myself would be willing to go and buy something if I saw a color story that spoke to me. And there they are, and there's me in my phone. There it is, precariously perched. And here are the swatches. Thank you again to my friend who gave me this for Christmas last year. Sorry I didn't get to it till now. Alright, that's it for today. I hope you have a good day no matter what it is you're doing. Bye! See you next time!